I'm a capitalist. I worked my ass off. Everything around me, I made myself.
You grew up with a rich mommy who gave you $10,000 to help you get your start. Even though all your businesses have been failures, you have conned your way into being perceived as a good businessman and have made money being a TV personality known for having no morals. And you and your wife unalived two people in 2019 in a boating accident. Everything you built yourself has been a negative for society.
So, this TikTok by Evan Like Star Trek is absolutely amazing because it points out something that capitalists do with great regularity, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why capitalists do this. So, this TikTok highlights how capitalists very often will paint themselves as these like hard workers who have like earned everything for themselves, when in actuality, the opposite is the truth. I mean, by definition, if somebody is a capitalist, that means that they earn their wealth through the accumulation of capital. And you don't accumulate capital by doing any type of labor. I mean, think about it. The longer hours you work at Walmart, you don't somehow magically accumulate shares of Walmart. That's just fundamentally ridiculous. No, capitalists accumulate wealth by having other people work for them, or by sitting on large scale investments and depending on the general inflation of value that happens in society to increase their wealth. You can own a lot of stocks and bonds, and it's really fundamentally the work of other people that is making your net worth increase. People like Jeff Bezos aren't personally hardworking so much that they're accumulating billions of dollars. No, people like Jeff Bezos have thousands and thousands of people that are working for them that are actually producing the value. But despite the fact that this is just an obvious reality that exists under capitalism, capitalists continue to present themselves as these sort of like hard workers that came up from nothing. And there's a very specific reason for that. They constantly push this narrative that they earned everything themselves, that they somehow went from rags to riches. And the whole point behind that is to get you to believe in the system of capitalism. What they want is basically an army of people across the country that believe that they too can one day become a billionaire, that one day you can be just like Elon Musk or Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos yourself if only you work hard enough. Except they know that you will never have the upfront cash to really accumulate any capital for yourself. So you working hard really just means earning money for the capitalist. But you need to have this belief that at some point in time you might accumulate capital for yourself. Because if they just told people, hey, you're working class, you're always going to be working class, and you will always depend on your labor to survive, and I will always be a capitalist, and I will always depend on other people's labor in order to become incredibly wealthy, well, most people wouldn't accept that, and they would demand some sort of structural change. And this is fundamentally why capitalists create this mythology. They want everybody to believe that they can be saved by hard work, despite the fact that even if you're working full-time at minimum wage, you are never going to be able to afford an apartment, and you'll definitely never be able to save up to buy a house for yourself. That fundamentally, full-time isn't enough on minimum wage. But the myth of meritocracy is something that capitalism fundamentally depends on, because it places in the idea of workers that somehow they can improve their status in life simply by working hard. And it also plays another layer as well. Because if you tell working class people that the only thing stopping them from succeeding is whether or not they're working hard, well, then working class people will point towards each other, and if they see somebody struggling or if they see somebody homeless, they will blame those people and say that they must not be working hard enough. Or if somebody is individually struggling, then they might internalize this belief and think that it's completely their fault that they're struggling, that they themselves must not be working hard enough. And so instead of trying to organize and form some sort of labor union and create real class solidarity, working class people are divided against each other, constantly criticizing each other, and also at the same time trying to prove their worth with overt displays of consumption to demonstrate how wealthy they are, and thus, as a result, by definition, hardworking. And that is why, fundamentally, we need to end this idea in our minds. Hard work has nothing to do with success in the United States of America. In fact, to some degree, it's quite the opposite. Just look at Elon Musk, for example. Elon Musk claims to be working 24/7, And yet somehow he has the time to constantly be reading and crying about his Twitter mentions. That is not behavior that is emblematic of somebody that is working hard, much less working hard enough to justify having billions of dollars himself. That is more reflective of somebody being deeply insecure because they want to seem like they work hard when in actuality, the wealth that they have is largely invested from an original inheritance. An inheritance, mind you, that has its origin in apartheid South Africa. So, no, the unfortunate reality is that hard work will not be enough to guarantee you a comfortable life in the United States, and that is exactly what we should fight to change.